Dear learners, welcome you all to the 4th week course of the MOOC on Distance and Digital Education. This module is on Strategies for Study Skills, that is module number 4 of the week 4. In the previous module, you have learned about the meaning of study skills as well as the importance of study skills. Here, I would like to draw your kind attention on the strategies of the study skills. After going through this video, you will be able to understand the various methods and skills or tactics of learning which will help you to enhance your learning in order to acquire knowledge and information. Some related topics like listening skills, reading skills, effective communication and writing skills, and time management skills have also been discussed in this module or the unit. So finally, you will learn how study skills are essential for studying in the distance mode. So the basic objectives of this module are to describe the means to develop effective study skills in learning, to identify the importance of study skills for distance learning. If we look at the strategies of study skills, for improving your study skills, you can use different strategies which will facilitate your effort for effective learning. The different strategies are thinking skills, SQTR method, note-taking skills, highlighting text, etc. And these things actually I am going to discuss in detail one by one. So, why actually we need various strategies of study skill? Because here I would like to draw your kind attention when we talk about the study skills, then use your thinking skills purposefully. We all have the ability to think. We can think about different things at the same time. You also definitely have the ability to think, and you do think about many things. But do you always use your thinking skills purposefully? Your answer must be in the negative. But it is very important to use your thinking skills effectively for your learning purpose. It will help you to develop your good study skills. So one must develop his or her thinking skills gradually and use it for his or her learning purpose. SQTR technique, it stands for survey. S means survey, Q means question, TR means read, write and review. So this 5-step strategy will help the learners to become self-sufficient learners in reading the study materials, and we shall discuss these things SQ, TR, SQ, 4R, SQ, 5R, SQ, 5WR strategy in the section of reading skills later on. So taking your note correctly and legibly. Note taking is an important skill associated with study skill. Taking note correctly and legibly is important in studying. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to read your own handwriting after taking down the notes. Your note will be of no use to you if you are unable to use it later. Highlighting a text. It is observed that students or learners are able to learn faster the text which has been highlighted. So while you read the text, you should in the process keep on highlighting a text which you consider to be an important one. Effective listening. Regarding effective listening, as a learner of distance education, you have to attend face-to-face tutorial, academic counseling, teleconferencing, listening to audio program and so on. In all these cases, your listening is very important for effective communication. Unless you listen carefully, you may not learn effectively or express yourself fully. To learn effectively, one should listen effectively. It will help him or her in developing better communication skills. One should remember that hearing and listening is not the same thing. They are completely different. Hearing is when you experience the sound waves and noise by ears, but listening is when you receive the sound waves and understand it by paying full attention to the words and sentences of the speaker. You can have the ability to improve your listening ability. There are some ways you can try for improving your ability to listen, like try to find out the meaning. As a listener or a learner, when you attend a counseling or any mood of programs, pay attention to not only to the words being spoken by the counselors or speakers, but to the thoughts and messages they try to convey. By doing things, you will be able to identify the main idea and the context in which the speakers have spoken the words. Further, you have to follow the examples and the description very attentively that the speakers have given in their deliberations. It will help you to comprehend each word spoken by the speakers in appropriate terms. Note down the important and relevant points. When you attend any counseling session, along with the attentive listening, you should note down the important points. Later on, you will be able to put together all these points, which will be very helpful or useful for you to understand the topics or the topic of the counseling sessions. Regarding taking notes, it is advisable to take notes of the relevant points only. If you go for taking long notes, then you may miss some important points what your teachers are saying during their class or lectures. This may be happen when you try to take note of everything and anything, whatever your teachers would say. Concentrate while you learn. Your concentration level is the determining factor in your rate of learning. Merely hearing the words that is spoken by your teacher will not ensure your effective learning. You have to process the information received from your teacher for effective learning. For this, your concentration level during the class is very crucial. Effective listening requires that you concentrate on and pay attention to what your teacher says in his or her lecture. Prepare for the class beforehand. Your attentive listening in class depends upon your preparation level before the class. It is helpful for you if you read the topic which has already been taught and which is likely to be taught in the next class. If you come to the class in this way, it will be easier for you to concentrate on your class, participate actively in the class, and to understand better what is being taught. Grow interest in the class. When you attend the class, you should put conscious effort for being interested what is being taught. Otherwise, it may be difficult for you to understand what is explained by your teacher. So, as a student or as a learner, you should always come to the class with the determination that you will give full interest to the subject matter being addressed by your teacher. This is very essential for you to listen more intently and effectively. There's another important point that should be followed, like observe or follow your speaker minutely. For a better understanding of the lecture of your teacher, you need to observe him very minutely. When your teacher delivers a lecture, follow his nonverbal signs that he sends out when he or she speaks. This will improve your listening ability and reduce your frequency of distractions. List out your expectation from the class. You are definitely not listening attentively in class if you don't have any expectation from the class. So always identify your expectation from the class before entering in it. Listen for your identified things as your teachers talk. This process will help you to listen effectively and purposefully in the class. Enter your class with a positive mindset. Do not enter your class with a fixed opinion on the teacher and the topic to be discussed. Listen positively to what your teacher has to say. If you have entered in class with your fixed preconception on the teacher and the topic to be discussed, then it is very difficult for you to listen attentively once your preconception does not match with the proceedings of the class. So, if we talk about when we look at the effective reading, then as mentioned above in the SQTR method, that it has been a proven way to sharpen the study skills. This is a study technique which was discussed by Robinson in 1961. This technique was modified into a system called SQ4R by Thomas and Robinson in 1972, and later it was further modified by other researchers as SQ5R, SQ5WR, and so on. We shall discuss them in detail in the following way. Say, SQTR technique. SQTR technique basically stands for like survey. When you enroll yourself in a program of study, you are provided with the course materials. After receiving the course materials, you tend to open the materials and give a first look at the contents. This is called survey. By this survey, you come to know how the program has been divided into the courses, how many courses are there, how many blocks are there in each courses, etc. Further, this survey helps you to know the structure of the program you have chosen. Also, a survey of the content makes you aware about what topics you are dealing with during your study. So, your first bird's eye view of the course gives you an initial idea of your opted courses, which at later stage helps you in going through it without difficulties. Say, question. SQ. S means survey and Q means question. Learning is purposeful activity. So, there is definitely a purpose for reading a particular content of the course material by you. When you are going to read a particular content of your course, you should ask yourself questions of 5 W's like what, why, when, who, and where of the study content. It will also explain the how of a particular subject, and the answers that you draw from these questions will help you in understanding the study contents, and you will remember it more easily because the process will give you an idea about the contents of the subject. So, whenever you go through a content of your course, write your questions in the margin of your course materials and don't be hesitant to answer those questions along with your reading. It will help you immensely in your effective self-learning. Now the read. S survey, then question, and T R's means one is read. As a learner, your active participation in the study of the course material is very essential. You also need to develop a critical mind so as to answer questions you have asked yourself in relation to the contents of the study matter. Moreover, reading self-instructional materials is not same as reading a book or a magazine or a newspaper, etc. You read the self-instructional materials as if you are interacting with the teacher that has been built it into the course materials. Read your course materials with a pace convenient for you and try to grasp the main ideas contained in the materials. Try to read everything in the content, including tables, graph, illustration, as they can be more helpful at times for your understanding the content. It is not advisable to make notes of or underline the word or phrase while you read. At the reading stage, you just read the content to get an idea inherent in the content. After reading through the entire text, you may start underlining or making the important points. Then come to the recite. Reading is always related to retention. As a learner, what you have read needs to be retained. Otherwise, reading is meaningless. After reading through a unit or a chapter, you should try to recite or mentally recollect important concepts and information. This will help you to remember what you have read. After reading the unit or the module, you try to develop an overall concept of, in your own words and thoughts, what you have read. After read, recite comes to review. Review is nothing but a quick repeat of the other steps we have discussed in the above. By this process, you can assess yourself what you as a learner have achieved while reading the content. You can also review your notes that you have written that will help you to clarify the points that you may have found difficult in understanding. The best time to review is when you have finished reading the whole blocks or the whole course. Now we are going to discuss about the SQ4R technique. As we have already discussed what is survey, what is question, and regarding STRs, that is read, recite and review. And next step is to reflect. It's a very important step. It's a very important step after a review, that is called a reflect. So let us understand what reflect means. Reflecting means to think carefully and deeply about something. A learner should reflect on the study materials while learning them. It allows him to develop more ideas about the content and the meaning of the text. Reflecting is very useful in remembering information that is contained in the text. Normally, you can start your reflecting on the content of the text during the second phase of your reading the course materials. In this phase, you should try to find the relation between what you have read, what you already know. So this will help you not only to retain what you have learned, but also to remember meaningful information. Now, I would like to draw your attention towards SQ5R technique. There are 7 steps that should be taken in studying a text in SQ5R technique. As I have already mentioned, S stands for survey, Q means question, then read, reflect, record, recite and review. Here let us understand what record means. Since all the steps except record have been discussed in the earlier, so now we have to know what is record. Record, it is a very normal that while reading you may come across some difficult sentences or paragraphs or certain words whose meaning you don't know. In such cases, you may note down and make a record of these difficult sentences or paragraphs or words for further references for clarifying your doubts. SQ5R technique involves 8 steps that should be taken in studying a text. There are survey, question, write, read, reflect, record, recite and review. Here, let us understand what write means. Write means when you survey the course content, there will be some questions you may ask yourself regarding the text you are reading. At the beginning stage, you may not have the answer to the questions. So, writing down the question will be very helpful to reference later on. As you go on reading the text, maybe once, twice or thrice, you will be able to answer the question by yourself. If you are still unable to answer any question, then you may consult your academic counselor or the tutor with regard to the questions and get your doubts clarified. Now, we are going to discuss about what is effective writing. Being a distance learner, your writing skills is very crucial for communicating with your teacher through writing assignments, reports or answering questions in the examination. Your ability to write well is your added advantage in the system of distance learning or any academic life. The more you write well, the more effectively you will be able to communicate with your distance teacher or tutor. If you want to improve your writing, first identify to whom the writing is directed, that is the teacher or someone else. Once you identify your target, you can start writing. Create an outline of what you want to write. For example, if you are writing a report, you should create the outline of the report before writing. It will help you to present your matter very systematically in and orderly manner. To make your writing reader friendly, use headings, subheadings, bullet points and numbering whatever possible to break up the text. Also try to avoid grammatical mistakes in your writing, otherwise your writing may not convey the appropriate meaning. Always go for proofreading twice or thrice after completion of your writing, once for grammatical or spelling mistakes and then for content. You can even give your writing to someone who is expert in proofread. Communication skill. Your ability to communicate effectively is very essential when you are getting your doubts clarified by your teacher or while you are discussing an idea with your teacher. Your reading or listening skills would be effective only when you have an effective communication skill. So you should work hard to be a good communicator. There is no fixed way that can be followed to achieve a good communicator skills. To achieve good communication skills. Here are some suggested ways by which you can try to develop your communication skills, such as listen attentively to others, develop your reading habit, maintain a good eye contact whenever you interact with someone, begin your communication with short messages, never be afraid to ask relevant questions. Speak clearly enough to be heard by the listener. Time management is another important strategy for an effective learning. Say, personal time management skills are very important skills for a distance learner. You may be employed or unemployed or a homemaker or even a fresh student or a fresh learner. If you don't use your time judiciously, you will never achieve your learning goals. For better time management, you may follow the techniques such as always set a goal for your work. Always prioritize your work according to its importance, moving from the most important to least important. Have a plan for a stable study time. Don't put off work. Always stick to the plan you have fixed for yourself. Prepare a timetable. Learn to say yes or no to other things to stick to your plan. If we look at how study skills and distance learning are actually interrelated, or why study skills is very much important in distance learning system, then study skills actually very much essential for a distance learner. In distance education, the teacher is replaced by self-learning materials which are interactive in nature. As a distance learner, your learning is dependent upon how effectively and efficiently you interact with your course materials. So study strategies or methods play a decisive role in distance learning. If you don't develop proper study skills, you may not be able to grow through properly the self-instructional materials in an effective manner. Moreover, as a distance learner, you have to deal with the audio-visual materials. Here also, to infer the appropriate meaning out of the content basically depends upon your accurate level of study skills. You might be thinking about how to develop your study skills and who will help you in developing the study skills. The answer of this question that is within the text of the distance education course materials. As told you earlier, distance education course materials are self-instructional in nature. The course design itself helps you develop skills for studying. When you go through the course materials, you have already come across it something entitled Secure Progress, or you have been given some assignments related to your course. There you can find some questions being asked to you to secure progress on the topic or unit you have gone through. If you use these questions while reading the text, it will not only help you in understanding the text more effectively, but also in developing skills to critically analyze the text. It will also help you note down important points and derive ways to solve a problem being asked in the form of secure progress and assignments. There is also another sub-theme you will come across in your course materials or the SLMs, the entitled like further reading, where information is given to the learners about the various books, journals, websites, etc. that have been referred to while writing the text. You may use these sources also for acquiring better understanding of your course content. You have been already acquainted with the fact that the distance learning materials contain a few blocks. Each block is divided into units which are further divided into sub-themes. There is also a brief introduction to what the learner will read and learn about while going through the text. The use of let us sum up at the end of each unit is incorporated with a view to helping the learners to put together what they have already read. Moreover, let us sum up that is quoted is also useful for the learners to grasp the main points presented in a unit at a glance. So, if you use and incorporate the features that have been discussed above in your study habits, then you will be able to develop many important study skills. Of course, for improving your study skills, you have to put in your serious and systematic efforts. So, in the next module, we are going to discuss many components related to distance and digital education. So, see you soon. Thank you.